Welcome back into the Pirate Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score. I had to wait for Will Flemons. He was out there running for office or something, kissing babies, doing something, and he's smiling. I don't feel shocked by this. I told somebody that the other day that I've known Will for 20-some years. I've heard you not smiling once because you put me in your office while I was waiting on the post-game interview, and I heard paint coming off the walls. So I know you weren't smiling during that, but I've never not seen you with a smile on your face. How's it going, man?
It's going good. How are you doing today?
Now tell me the story with you and Chad Reynolds. That's why you were.
Well, Chad was in like Pee Wee League basketball, and I was still playing, and I coached him along with my son, and played through him and my son, and I'm like, ooh, we got something here. And sure enough, look where Chad's at now.
So, yeah, Chad may have turned his radio on when he was going here. So I missed covering Chad in high school. I got here in '97. He had just moved on to Texas Tech, so I missed him as a high school player. I knew his name from Texas Tech. And when I started my site, I started realizing there were some coaches I knew, and I went out and introduced myself, and we started talking about what he'd done at Friendship, and he just totally nonchalantly said, well, yeah, I was All-State quarterback as a senior. And I looked at him and was like, what a minute, you were an All-State quarterback? Yeah, that's not – we're in Texas, USA. That's a pretty big deal. So he must have been a pretty good dude at whatever he wanted to do.
Whatever he wanted to do, even at that young age, you could see the potential in him, and he was great to coach as a little kid. So I can only imagine getting an opportunity to coach him at the high school level when he really got a hold of what he wanted to do.
Well, Dad is a coach. He played for Bobby Davis, so he was coached old school well, which I know exactly how you coach, and so that's what it was. I was mentioning to somebody, we were talking about different coaching styles now, and I talked about how I'm a Kansas fan. I love to watch Bill Self coach. I love to watch Tom Izzo coach because they still coach them hard.
Oh, yes.
And you still coach them hard, but your guys accept it. And we're going to talk about what you guys did this season and what you got coming back, but there's a place for that.
Yes.
I know that we live in a whole different world. We're watching the Celtics or Knicks are on TV here, and I remember one of your first years, you guys shot a few too many threes, and you got a little upset with your guy. That may have been that same day, in fact. I watched the Celtics miss 45 three-pointers the other day, and I'm thinking, I can't think of their coach's name. I'm thinking at some point, tell them, stop shooting threes.
Do something
I think you can coach them hard, especially when they're making a lot of money up at that level.
It's kind of like that. I tell our guys, I never want to tell them to stop shooting, but do something different. Right now, that's not falling. So do something different. They're letting you shoot that because it's not falling. Yes. So let's do something different that's going to help our teams, help our teammates out. And so I don't want to ever take any aggressive play from our players, but let's do something different to add a different dimension to our game to maybe get to the free throw line or mid-range.
So I've been a Celtics fan since the 80s, since Larry Bird got there, since they had, I don't know, did you see the documentary on Netflix that just came out? It's called Celtic Green. You need to check it out because I know you'll appreciate it. I don't feel like we'll be watching the Celtics much longer in the playoffs after Jason Tatum, his Achilles heel blew up on him. Yeah. So we're 2 months away, I just had a couple of Monterey girls in, and they're still, and understandably so, but we're 2.5, 3 months away from basketball, so you've had time to kind of digest and absorb and accept that your season ended probably a little bit sooner than you wanted it to.
It did.
With your guys, but, and I've said this a dozen times when you've come on here, the thing about you guys is you steadily get better. You got better this season it seemed like every game, every week. Just again, hit that one hurdle. But, and I'll say the same thing I've said to a couple coaches, that door's there to be knocked down.
It is. We had like a stretch. We lost 5 straight games. That's the first time it happened to me since I've been at Cooper. And then we had to refocus and go back and do some basics. I mean, that's what it comes down to. When you're struggling, go back to the basics. Basics never steer you wrong. And we kind of got some momentum going. And then, conference starts, and conference is a war every night. And we got fortunate. We won our first 4 and then kind of got us off to a great start. And it just kind of rolled.
And had some guys come up big.
Yes.
I'm going to tell you something off the air here that I think you'll get a kick out of. Had an all-city player on HubCityPreps.com website. Had some other guys who came up big, but you got to shuffle the deck. We were just talking to Chad Reynolds about the end of the season. You have to say goodbye to one group and start thinking about the next. So we're going to come up on a break here. We're going to come back and have Will talk about the future for his guys in the Pirate Fan Zone on 100.7 Score. This is Randy Rosetta. We'll be back after the break.
Bringing you the latest news from Lubbock Cooper Athletics. This is the Pirate Fan Zone podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back into the Pirate Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score. We're talking Lubbock Cooper boys basketball as the school year winds down because, Will, it's not like it's never – the summer's always been important for high school basketball kids, but it's a little bit different than
yes, it is.
When you were growing up. It's and parents will vouch for this. It's become an industry.
It is.
Because a very lucrative industry for somebody somewhere. What do you – let's start with – you have some guys, you lost some guys, but you've got a group back. Who are some of those guys coming back that you're excited about?
We have Obi coming back. He, great player for us, great defender. I think you're going to hear some about Adrian Anderson for next year. Cade Gant plays both ways, football and basketball. He's been a big part of our program. He's been a part of that. Wyatt Hare came on late for us last year as an inside guy. And we got a lot of new guys like Ian that played a lot as a sophomore for us. So we're going to be young, but we're going to be skilled. And that's the part that I have to get better at is, they're going to make those young mistakes. We got to go through them. And so we can get better before we start December. So that's the part I got to do. Again, the reason some coaches can coach kids hard is because the kids know they're cared for. And if you can care for a kid, you can get on their butt and tell them at the end of practice and mean it. I love you. I want what's best for you. We're in this thing together.
Chad Reynolds has talked about your friendship. Friends are about to go through what you've been through the last couple of years. To me, this is the year when you start to realize the transition of going from one school in the district to two. You start to see.
Oh, yes.
There's some of these kids that I thought I was going to coach a long time ago that now Parker Hicks is getting to coach them down the road here. But you've had a couple of years now to kind of let that sink in.
Yeah.
What's that going to look like? What do you feel like that's going to look like now that we're going into that third year?
Well, this third year, we're going to, especially with my freshman group and a little bit more my JV group, we're going to have to rely a little bit more on those guys that's doing dual sports. Can't just continue to just bring kids in and go straight basketball. We're going to have to share, and that's great because we get an opportunity to work with that small group of kids that we have in our class where it's absolutely no excuse because you're getting number reps. When football comes in, we have to kind of take a step back because we got to catch guys up, but it's you learn on the fly, and that's what you do. That's what you get paid for. You coach, and you work with the guys day in and day out.
Chip Darden put the positive spin on it the first time we talked about it is you won't have as many guys to coach, which means you get to coach them a little bit more intently.
You do.
And basically with Lubbock Cooper, you go from being Lubbock Cooper, that big growing 5A now to, okay, we're this little 5A again.
It is. It's just, again, you can only coach the kids that you get.
Yeah.
And when you get them, love them, coach them up, put a good product out there, give the guys an opportunity to win, give them guys an opportunity to believe in themselves, and the rest is in the books.
And you're going to have to adjust a little bit this year too, because longtime assistant coach James Reich has flown the coop. He's going to go into private business and spend time with those three daughters. I teased him on Facebook. I said, I want to know how he doesn't have more, Greg. I've only got two daughters. He's got three of them, and his are all grouped together age-wise. How he's not gray right now, I don't know.
James is one of those guys. He hardly age, so he looks good all the time. It's a blow to us. Been with James for a number of years. Known James since high school. We've known each other since high school, so we've known each other, and he's family. Like I told him yesterday at his retirement party, I love you, and I wish you well, and wish your family well. We're gonna miss him. We got a replacement, young guy, Jake Bell. great history. Dad's coached, he's coached with his dad, knows the ins and outs of it. He was the head coach at Martin Mills when we had COVID and went 39-0.
Oh.
And we're very excited about him. He's passionate. He's come in a day or so, and we've been going over some new stuff that we're putting in. And he's like, what if we do this? And I go, we'll do it. And I mean, he's just got right in there with the kids, and that's what you want to see. You don't want a coach coming in, okay, well, I'm scared to step up. Get in there, mix it up, let's go. And he's that type of guy.
Were Paducah and Haskell in the same district back in the day?
At one point, when I was in junior high, we were in the same district.
Okay.
But then when I got to high school, we ended up going to, my first year was 2A with Haskell, and then my next 3 years were 1A.
Because when you mentioned that you guys have known each other through high school, I had to start doing the math in my head. That is about right. Again, James, whatever your secret is for looking as young as you do, you need to bottle that up. I've told him before now, he's James Dickey 2.0. and I bet if I saw James right now, he'd still look like he was about the same as the last time I saw him. So that makes some sense. So.
Absolutely.
Summer ball is, as I mentioned, we'll loop back around to that. Where do your guys stick together? Somebody told me this the other day. You, Monterey, and Liberty have a mini league, little round robin thing going.
It's us, Monterey, and Coronado.
Okay.
And we will have, like on Tuesday nights, we'll go to, like the first, on the 27th, we start at our place, and we'll have open gym. And we'll go 10 minutes quarters and play and just rotate for about an hour and a half. And, that's great for guys because they get a chance. I mean, they're constantly playing. And then, I mean, the reason we did it on Tuesdays, a lot of our guys are going to play summer basketball somewhere, not always together, but that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, get a chance to go play somewhere else. And so we do that, and we have, throughout the week, we have a sweat camp. And so we get to work with them a little bit on skill. So it's a win-win for us. For Cooper, we go the month of June, we work them hard. Month of July, go be a kid. Yep. Get away. need a break.
And your friend and my friend Paul Page pointed this out, and I never thought about it until he said, especially where we live in Texas, because kids here are dual sport kids, a lot of them.
Absolutely.
Summer basketball is basically your preseason because then you send them to football or you send them to different. You don't get them back all together until, like you said, until football's over. So this is when they have to learn, to start developing some chemistry. Any team camps for you guys?
We're looking at Eastern New Mexico.
Okay, so which is to me that's and you get to coach them to some degree. Mm-hmm. And I think that's big for summer basketball. I think that because, as Paul said, you don't get them. You have to cut them. You cut them loose because you want to, but then you don't get them all back together for a while. Right. So we'll have Will on pretty quickly when the school year begins. Again, next week is the last week of the show. So we'll come back after the break on 100.7 The Score. Parker Hicks will be here. I'll try to keep him and Will from grappling out there. This is Randy Rosetta. This is 100.7 The Score.